Hello, Salemites. Welcome to your daily dose of days. This is a weekly update for Days of Our Lives for Monday, June 5th to Friday, June the 9th, which is today. What's popping in Salem? Ooh, it's been a busy week. Okay, so we left off Friday. We were hanging in the balance, wondering who Nicole's baby daddy is. We get the results back Monday, and of course everybody's all stressed out. They only had Eric's DNA, so Nicole, Eric, and EJ all went to the hospital to get the results. And Nicole read the envelope and said, "Eric, your DNA was not a match." And he was the only one that they took his DNA, so that meant it was EJ's. EJ was ecstatic. He was so excited. And Eric was just, "Congratulations," and then shuffled his feet off. You couldn't help but feel sorry for Eric, but I was so happy because I thought, oh, great, because I'd like to see Sloan be happy. She's had so much misery in her life, and I think Sloan and Eric make a good couple, and I'd like Sloan to have Eric's baby if I had my choice. And so I was glad when it came back, but when he was telling Sloan about it and he was so just devastated and disappointed, and she was hugging him, she was having a flashback of when she swabbed his mouth. And there is where it showed that she swabbed her own mouth and not Eric's. So what we do know is that Sloan is not the baby daddy. So we don't really know if it's Eric's or EJ's. It leads you to think that it's probably Eric's. But, Sloan, I feel so bad for her. She really does love Eric, and she's not in the market for loving people, but she loves Eric, and I think they would make a great couple. And I wish she would get rid of her birth control pills, and her and Eric would try to have a baby. So I think things are going to get a little bit more serious for her and Eric. Now that he thinks, well, she's having a baby with EJ, it's really over with me and, Nicole. So, Nicole and EJ are happy. They decide they want to keep it on the down low or the low down, whichever one that is, that the people use that phrase, and not tell anybody because Nicole has had problems carrying babies to term. She has not been successfully able to do that. So, they're going to wait a few more weeks before they start letting their friends and family that don't know about the upcoming baby. This is what's going to happen that I think, since Nicole has a history of having problems with carrying a baby to term. I believe there's going to be some kind of life or death situation with the baby where the parents need to donate blood and they find out that the baby is not EJ's. I don't know if there's any way Sloan could get out of that. I mean, she could always say, yeah, I swabbed Eric. I mean, DNA tests can be faulty. Not generally, but, that's going to be bad because at that point, I think Eric and Sloan will probably be married. EJ and Nicole will probably be married. And Sloan will probably be with child of Eric's as well. That's just my predictions. I don't know. I just got a little feeling. Colin, of course, has escaped from the hospital. He ran into Leo, and Leo's like, "Officer," right now because he needed some help. So he kind of attacked Leo and broke his phone, and Leo went crying with his tail tucked between his legs like a little bitch boy like he is. He went crying back to Gwenny. "Oh, Gwenny, there's a psychopath killer after me. Oh, my gosh." And she tells him, calm down. He's wanted by the police. You're the last thing on his mind. And he's like, well, I'm glad you don't take it seriously because, they may not know that he's parading around in a cop suit or whatever. She didn't seem to think it was a big deal. And it wasn't. He didn't go after Leo. He could care less about Leo. Just as he has bigger fish to fry. Chloe comes home from her first day of work. Xander's waiting there with some champagne or something, wine. She just walks in, grabs a bottle, a little bit. And he's like, "How was your first day at work, darling?" And she said it sucked or it was awful, hair in my mouth or something. And she said, so bad that I quit. So apparently, Gwen was giving her a rough time, put her a desk in an office, in a janitor's closet or some crap. It was some bad stuff. But he talked Chloe into coming back, saying, if you quit, Gwen wins. We don't want her to win. So he ends up making egg sandwiches, and they settle in for a night at home. Xander, where is it? Was that Monday? Okay. So, Jada goes to Sloane's apartment and has a search warrant and tells her, I got a search warrant. They're talking the whole time she's searching, and she lets it out. Yeah, it's bad enough my boyfriend's ex is pregnant. And she's like, what? And she said, oh yeah, you haven't heard. Nicole's pregnant, and you might as well know. It could be Eric's baby. I'm sure that rubs you the wrong way. If I was Jada, it would rub me the wrong way. If it was Eric's baby, I would go tell Nicole, do you really want to have a baby with someone that's with someone else? Like she did Jada. But Jada made the final decision, no matter how Nicole influenced her. So Dimitri comes home. He is welcomed by Kristen and Megan. And Megan announces that, she wants Dimitri and Kristen to get married. Da-dun, da-dun. And that's the end of Monday. Tuesday, we start off. Xander ends up kissing Chloe, and she slaps him, but then gives in and kisses him. And she says she hates it, that she's attracted to him. He's like, why? Why's that? And they're getting a little bit closer. I think she's warming up to him. I hate to see these two be a couple, because Sarah's going to be coming back, and she's with child that happens to be the Zan man's. So Chloe's going to get hurt all over again. I wish she would just step back from the Zan man. Chloe's, Sean comes back from Greece. Belle comes home. Oh, didn't know you were coming back. And he is drunk as a skunk. And she's like, are you drunk? And he's like, I've been drinking, or are you drinking, or whatever. And she's like, Sean, why are you drinking? And he said, I don't know. Because I put my dad in a coma. Something to that effect. Not those exact words. So don't throw me in jail over it. And, he's really taking it hard. Of course, he is the reason that Beau's in a coma. That and the fact we got some suck writing going on over there right now. I don't know. It could have been something with Beau and Hope's schedules. I was very ticked off for them to end their little comeback like this. This is the second time they've let me down with the writing big time. First time was Abigail's murder. So, Belle tries to, reassure Sean, he's okay, she goes to bed. So, Talia apologizes to Ray for the biscuit poisoning and lying and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, okay. And she goes back to the hotel room. She got out on bail to lay down. No, it wasn't the hotel room. Her room above the pub where her and her sister lived. She went to lay down, and she went in and she saw something on the floor, and she picked it up, and it was a badge. And she's trying to figure out what's going on, and then she realized that it was Colin. Colin was in there. She tried to get out the door. She couldn't. He got her. He's threatening her, and, saying, you turned on me, and all this crap. So, he's got her held captive up there, threatening all kinds of stuff to her, like he's gonna finish her off, and yada yada yada. I do not like him. Kristen turns down the marriage deal with Dimitri, as well as Dimitri. They think Megan is woohoo. Kristen said, I'm getting ready to go through a custody battle, and I can't go through a custody battle being married to my nephew. Come on, girl. Come on. So that's not going to work. They're trying to figure out who they can get to marry Dimitri, and in pops who? Win Rice Check. And Megan decides she would be fitting for a wife for him. So she demands he go on and give her the interview she wants. So they set up kind of a date for this interview she wants. And the mother, Megan, wants him to marry her because if he gets married before he's 40 and he's 39 and 3/4, he gets a big bunch of money that she wants her hands on. Oh, what a load of loving, doting mother. Anyway, Kristen turns down the marriage, and he meets Gwen, who shows up to interview Dimitri. Then we move on to Wednesday, the 11th. Julie is back on set, and she's home, and she is visiting Paulina, who is in the hospital. Trip comes home to Wendy, who's sitting there waiting on Johnny to go get them some takeout and come back. And he got wrapped up with Chanel and the drama with Colin, so he didn't make it back, and she ended up having tacos at Trip Fix. Now Trip's just all over Wendy, and he is pulling every plug he can. I do not like Trip, but I don't like Wendy either, so I wish they would get together and move the hell to Seattle and let Johnny be with Chanel. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so Johnny is busy comforting Chanel. She's all upset. She runs into Johnny at the pub. She's going to get her mama a hamburger, and he's there to pick up food for him and Wendy. And she gets a text that Talia has been let out on bail, and she's like, I bet that witch is right upstairs. I'm going to go upstairs and get her a piece of my mind. And Johnny's like, no, you don't need to go alone. And she's like, I'll be okay. So she goes up there, and Talia opens the door, and of course Colin's behind it. And she's just saying all this stuff to her, and I forget what Talia's saying. She might be apologizing. I don't know. She's trying to get rid of her, and she hands Chanel the officer's badge that she found. She put it in her hand, and she mouthed, "Help me." So Chanel went downstairs and told Johnny, I think he's up there. I think he's holding her. And they call, the cops. They call Jada and stuff. And Jada comes over, and he's holding her. And they get him. They lock him back up. Anyway, Johnny's staying with Chanel through all this drama. And Johnny had to go down to the police station. Him and Chanel were at the police station all night long. So he showed up the next day right after breakfast to Wendy's, trying to tell her, I got a good excuse. And she said, really? Well, I'd like to hear it. And he's telling her all what happened. And she's like, you mean you couldn't call? And he said, well, when we had so much to do, my phone was dead and Trip's over there. So you couldn't borrow someone's phone to call her? And I'm sitting there thinking, Wendy, stick it up your butt. He was in the middle of a serious situation, comforting a friend that needed him right then. Take it or leave it. Get off, go. I don't like her. Don't like her. Who does she think she is? Queen Wendy? Get over it, man. Johnny can have lots of girls. He don't need to be coming begging you like a little puppy. Go to Trip. I don't like her. Don't like Trip. I thought we were done with him and Allie, and now here we got these two. I don't know. I don't like her. So anyway, where was I? Okay. Yeah, it's Rafe and Jada that save her. Now then we move on to Thursday, which is, what is that? The 8th? Yeah. Colin, I got that. Colin takes hostage. Yeah. Jada saves her. Colin's back in jail. Wendy and Trip moving along. And I don't have any other notes other than Thursday. There was a lot of, Johnny talking to Wendy, just like wasted space. So, move on by. Well, there is the little side note of Abe, who has been kidnapped by this Nurse Whitley. And I'm not sure what her story is. But she wouldn't let him watch cable. She said it got cut off. So she gave him these soap operas to watch, which of course are the actors of Days of Our Lives. It was Marlena and Kayla acting in, I forget what the name of it was, and he was watching them, and he knows that something is wrong. Things are rolling around in his head. He's watching stuff on this soap opera that's triggering things in his mind. So on Friday, June 9th, everyone's still looking for Abe. Rafe goes to the door and knocks on the door, and Rafe's inside, and Abe is inside, and he doesn't answer because Whitley left and went to work, the nurse, and she told him that guy that beat him up was running loose and pretending to be a cop, so he was just quiet. Rafe was looking for the nurse to interview her. She was at work, and who's our patient at work? Paulina. And her and Paulina talked. She's like, yeah, that was horrible. What happened to your husband? So I don't know what her plan is. She doesn't seem like she wants to hurt Abe. She said she took him out of the hospital because he was in danger. So, I don't know. She does look an awful lot like Paulina. They dolled her up just like Paulina. Whitley comforts Paulina. Paulina's crying. She's worried about where her husband is and all this. So Rafe walks in, and she's like, well, Rafe, what are you doing here? Did you find Abe? And he's like, no, I'm here to talk to Whitley. And she's like, he's like, I just come from your house, and then I figured out you were here working. And she's like, well, what can I do for you? And he said, well, you were one of the last people to see the mayor. Did you notice anything unusual, anything? And she said no, and he was pretty much done with her. Also today, on Friday, Dimitri says now he's not going out with Gwen. So I don't know how that's going to happen. And that's pretty much a wrap for went on in Salem this week. We'll see what's going on next week. Hopefully Wendy and Trip will move to Seattle. If you haven't subscribe, like, I'm thinking about doing some lives on like Friday or Saturday. I don't know which day would be better, where people we can talk live about what happened through the week. I think that would be fun. Okay, thank you all. I will see you in Salem.